Hello learners, I'm Mr. Saul, and today we're going to continue with learning about types of energy and how they can cause changes. There are lots of different types of energy. Here I've listed just a few. We have electrical energy, which we use to power all of our electronics, things like our phone or a fan or a heater. Each of those will be turning that electrical energy into something else. So electrical energy is very, very useful and allows us to cause many changes. However, you do not want to get shocked because that would be a very bad change to cause. Next up, we have heat energy. This one is all around us. We get heat energy from the sun. It allows plants to grow. It allows us to go outside without having to bundle up in lots of winter coats all the time. That's because heat energy causes things to warm up. That is an example of the changes that it causes. Next up, we have light energy. Light energy is fantastic because it allows us to see. If we didn't have light energy, we would be in the dark all the time. We wouldn't be able to see. So, what kind of changes does light energy cause? Well, it causes plants to grow. If I spend too much time out in the sunlight, I can get a sunburn and my skin will turn red and sensitive. That is another change that too much light can cause. So there are many, many changes from light energy. The next type of energy we have is mechanical energy. And here I've drawn this little gear turning. And that reminds me that mechanical energy is all about movement. It's about changing the position from one place to another place. And it also covers if things break. So if I have a glass and it breaks, the mechanical energy is what is changing, is what is causing that change. So the change in position, when at the beginning the glass was in one position, whole, and then after it breaks, the change is now that it's in lots of pieces. That was mechanical energy because it's all about movement and motion. And next up we have sound energy. Sound energy comes from that vibration. So if I have a string that's vibrating, I'll be able to hear it because it's vibrating the air, which then allows me to hear and know where that sound is coming from. That can cause a lot of different changes. I can know that it's safe or not to cross the street depending on if I can hear a car coming. I can answer the phone if it's ringing. I can answer someone if they're calling me. So sound energy can cause lots of changes. Let's take a look at some closer examples of what changes can be caused and by which type of energy. We'll be right back. So here I have a piece of aluminum foil, and I just took this off the roll so you can tell it's still pretty smooth and shiny and it's all flat. Now, if I use some of my mechanical energy, remember that's the energy of movement, and I'm going to change this aluminum foil by crumpling it up into a ball. Now, using my mechanical energy, I have changed a lot about this aluminum foil. Now it's not flat and smooth anymore, it's a ball and it's rough and it's actually kind of hard. So this aluminum foil went through some changes because of the mechanical energy that I was using to do that. So that is our first example of mechanical energy and how it can cause a change. Next up, I have an ice cube. I just got this out of the freezer and it is very, very cold. I'm going to cause some changes to this by grabbing it in my hand and then squeezing it as hard as I can in both of my hands, just like this. Okay, so, wow, okay, that's really cold, having some trouble focusing here. But what I'm doing is I'm squeezing this ice cube very, very hard. Now, as you can see, there's already some changes happening. What is coming out from the bottom of my hands as I'm squeezing this ice cube? Oh my gosh, that's so cold, I can't think. The change is, help me out here, the change is happening because I'm using my energy to change this ice cube into something different. In this case, it's coming out as water, and I'm using which of these types of energy that you see here. Take a second to talk about it and describe which energy is causing this change in the ice. Next up, let's take a look at how light energy can cause a change. I'm going to show a video of someone getting a light shine directly into their eyes. I want you to see if you can notice a change in that person's eyes when it happens. Let's look at that video in slow motion. Was everyone able to see how that person's eyes got smaller, their pupils got smaller when the light was shining in their eyes? That's because their eye was changing in response to all that light. It got smaller to let in less light. So we looked at how different types of energy can cause changes. And a lot of the time, it's pretty clear what kind of change will happen. Like, for example, I hold the ice in my hand, the heat energy causes the ice to melt. That's a very obvious change. But sometimes the change that took place and the type of energy is not very obvious, and we have to do something called infer. When we infer, we have to use the clues and what we see around us to figure out what happened. We have to be sort of like detectives that are trying to solve a problem. When we're doing that, we figure out what was the type of energy and what was the change that occurred. So I'm going to show you guys some pictures, and I want you to try to tell your teacher and share out what was the type of energy and what was the change that it caused. Welcome back. I hope that you learned a lot about types of energy and the changes that they can cause, and I will see you guys next time when we keep talking about types of energy.